How's it going, guys? Nate here, and this video took me so long. I've never put so much time into one video. Welcome back to my channel, Premier League 2017/2018 prediction video. The reason I'm doing this, they're very, very popular on YouTube, and I think it would definitely be fun for me to take a look back at the end of the season and see how I got on. Right, so I have taken a lot of notes down of different signings that have come in, players that are already there, but that took long enough. But what took longer was to find somewhere on the internet, on my Xbox, where I can just. I was looking on loads of different betting sites, and I could not find anywhere where I could fill in a Premier League prediction and a full table and put a bet on it. There was nowhere like that I could find, so I ended up downloading some app on the Xbox called Notes. Yeah, I was actually going to I was going to do I was going to do this live. I was going to have this video sort of I was going to do it on a whiteboard and whatever, but all of that stuff is I haven't got all of that sort of equipment with me right now. So this is where I'm doing it. Let's get straight into it and start off. In 20th, my prediction is Brighton. Now, decent team, obviously. They were second? Yeah, they did. Yeah, because they literally just missed out from Newcastle, didn't they? They've made one signing at the time of making this video. The date today, I can't tell you, but I think it's something like the 3rd of August. Yeah, the only signing they've got on at the moment is Pascal Gross from Ingolstadt. I haven't really seen anything about them being linked with anyone else, so I've put Brighton in 20th. I think a lot of people would maybe predict the same, but maybe a shock for 19th, where I have actually put Burnley. Now, I like Burnley. Good team, good manager, but they've signed Walters and Bardsley from Stoke, which that is not that they are not game changing signings. They're pretty useless and just, I wouldn't even call them squad strengtheners. I don't really rate either of them at all. But they did get Jack Hawke from Swansea, which I actually do think is a very good signing. But they have not replaced Michael Keane, who was so important for them last year. They really needed to. They really needed to fill his shoes, and they haven't done at all so far. Yeah, you got to remember that there could be something else that happens between now and the beginning of the season. Yeah, but at the moment, Burnley are there, 19th place for me. And then maybe another shock when we go into 18th, where I have got Watford. Again, they're a good side, and I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure they done quite well last year. Can't remember. But they've signed, obviously they cleverly last year on loan. They've completed his signing now. I think they've bought him from Everton. And they've also got on loan, I believe on loan, I can't imagine that Chelsea sold him to him, but Chalobah. That's not enough. That's really not enough for me at all. Deeney getting another year older. They've got a few decent players. Mario Suarez, who they loaned out to Valencia, I think they've now sold as well. He's quite a good player. But that's not enough. Again, Watford in 18th. They have not done enough in the transfer window for me to keep them up. Now, we have got Swansea in 17th. I think a lot of people are expecting them to do bad, but I have seen a few people actually say that they reckon they'll do really well, because they are a good club, and they are a really good club, big club. But I think Cork is a very good player, and to lose him is not great. They've replaced him with Mesa, a defensive Spanish midfielder from the La Liga. Looks a really good player. I think there's question marks over Llorente at the moment as well, which isn't good for them. Obviously, the only guy that could seem to score goals from last season. They've got Tammy Abraham, which is a good signing. I've always thought that Chelsea needs to give him a chance, but they chose not to, because that's what Chelsea do. And yeah, so that's why I've got Swansea down in 17th. 17th position. Now, into 16th, I have got Newcastle. I really like Newcastle. I'm not really a football fan that hates any team, but apart from Millwall. But I like Newcastle, like their manager. I really like True Geordie, so I enjoy that they're in the Premier League. But I just don't. Well, 16th isn't really a bad position, is it? It's not that bad. Thinking about, they've just come up, but they really haven't signed anyone. Like, they had Atsu on loan. They've completed that signing, which I think is good, because I'm pretty sure he done quite well from last year in the Championship. And they also signed Mankillo from Atletico Madrid, who I'm sure is going to do well for them. They've let Vernon Anita go, and I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Anita. I think he's a solid player. 16th for Newcastle, they'll definitely stay up, and I'm sure they'll finish anywhere sort of between 10th and 17th, to be honest. But 16th is the position I've got them in. Now in 15th, a lot of people have put these as one of the favourites to be. One of the favourites to be relegated, and I really don't think so. I think Huddersfield look good. They've got Tom Ince from Derby. I think that's a really good signing. Aaron Moy has been a completed signing from Man City. Never actually played for Man City, I don't think, but he's a good player nevertheless. And De Poitre, the Belgium striker for Porto, who I have got in my fantasy team. I actually think he's going to be really good and get maybe 10 goals this season. I think that's a really good signing. And that's a player that I would have been. I'm a West Ham fan, by the way. That's a player I would have been happy for West Ham to have signed this season to go up front. Obviously, a couple of years ago, he's really, really good playing in the Belgium league. I think they've got really lucky with that signing, and I think Huddersfield are going to stun a lot of people, and I think they'll actually have a really good season. Into 14th, we have got. I've got written down actually. I did have Leicester, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's been changed to Stoke. Stoke are just a difficult team, man. They've got such a solid squad, and they'll always give everyone a tough game, especially back at their place. So, Stoke. They signed Darren Fletcher. I think he's just a good player for anyone in this sort of like... In this half of the table. To get Darren Fletcher is just a decent signing. Zuma on loan is massive. I think he's going to be so good for them. Obviously massive in size and like talent. But they have lost Arnautovic. Obviously they've lost him to West Ham, and I do think he was their best player last year and has been for a couple of years. So I think that would be a big loss for them. And that is why I'm putting Stoke into 14th position. Now, in 13th, we have got Leicester. Now, Leicester. Hope I spelt that right. Leicester, decent. I like Leicester. Well, I didn't like them when they sacked their manager, of course, and like no one else did. But I think they got Iborra from Sevilla, and I think that's a really good signing actually. He's been a pretty good player for Sevilla for a few years now. They've obviously got question marks over Mahrez, and Drinkwater looks like he'll be going to Chelsea. I'm absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why they'd want him, but I don't really rate Drinkwater that high. Mahrez looks like he could be on his way out to Roma to fill the shoes of Mohamed Salah. As I said, I did have him down in 14th. The reason I've put him up is because of the signing of Iheanacho. Obviously, Iheanacho was linked a lot with West Ham. I was really hoping we got him. I'm happy with Chicharito. But I think Iheanacho will be their top goal scorer. Him and Vardy, man, that is scary stuff. They're going to be very, very quick again, like they was a couple of years ago. 13th for Leicester. I thought 14th, but I think with Iheanacho, maybe even higher, up to maybe like 9th or 10th. I think that's a game changer for them, getting Iheanacho in. In at 12th, we have got Southampton. Southampton are weird because they always just seem to do well, and I don't really know why. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, when they had Lallana and Lambert and Klein, Shaw, they were really good, obviously. But, yeah, 12th, perfect for them, I think. They've lost Jay Rodriguez, haven't signed anyone as of yet. And that's just where I think they're going to finish. Boring. They're going to be very, very boring. They need to get... Obviously, Gabby Adini was a great signing for them. Didn't see quite as much from him coming to the end of the season, but obviously as soon as he signed... I don't know if he got injured or whatever, but as soon as he signed, he was very good. So if they can get him back into form, maybe they could finish a little bit higher as well. Into 11th, we have got Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace. They just look good. Like, who would have thought that... even a few years ago, the Crystal Palace will have some of the players they got now. Benteke, that is just insane. He's so good, I think. So underrated. He could play for Arsenal. I just don't really think Liverpool was right for him. But I think maybe Arsenal would have been a really good signing for him. He's obviously still at Crystal Palace. They've signed Loftus-Cheek as well on loan, but I rate him highly. I think he's really good. And the only player they've lost so far is Mandanda. Zaha, Townsend... Tompkins. They've just got some really good players. I rate him. And I rate Crystal Palace. I think that's a decent finish for them. Would be 11th. So that's where I have got them. Moving on into 10th. Right, we have got West Brom. They're so boring. Like the most boring team I think in the Premier League. And I'm sorry if there's any West Brom fans watching this, probably not. This probably won't be watched by more than 10 people, so the chance of one of you being a West Brom fan is very slim. Although I do think Jay Rodriguez is a great signing for them, and I really like Tony Pulis. Rondon and Chadley. What's happening with Chadley? I don't know if was only online. If they still have Chadley, then that's an excellent player for them. I really like Rondon, and that's where I think West Brom will finish, 10th place. In 9th, we have got Bournemouth. I really like Bournemouth. I really, really like Bournemouth. A big fan of Eddie Howe. Begovic, great signing. Straight in goal. Better than Boric. Defoe, straight in. Straight up front, main striker. Nathan Aki, excellent signing. And I think 9th will be really good for Bournemouth. By the looks of things, I haven't got an 8 in here, have I? Right, 1 second. There we go. Oh, wrong way. Right, sorry about that. But, yeah, Bournemouth, I think... Yeah, I do think they'll do really good. And I like their team. I like Bournemouth. I like their manager. And they've made really good signings. So I think Bournemouth fans would definitely be happy with 9th. That's where I've got them. In 8th, I have got Everton. A team that are really annoying me right now, and I'm so fed up with hearing things about Everton because everyone I talk to say, "Oh, they've had a wicked window. They've got in some great players, which they have. Pickford's a great goalie. Keane's a very good centre back. Klaassen looks very good when he's playing for Ajax, and a very, very good Dutch player. We'll have to see how he gets on in the Premier League. And Rooney's a decent signing for them as well, I think. But let's not, ignore the elephant in the room that they did lose Lukaku, who was like 3/4 of their team last year, just by far their best player, and they haven't replaced him. They've also got rid of Enner Valencia, who they obviously had on loan. West Ham haven't kept him either, but I quite like Valencia. Yeah, you can't just Rooney's not going to fill his shoes, is he? Let's be honest. Who's going to be scoring their goals? Morales? Does he even play? I don't know, but yeah, I've seen some people put Everton as high as 5th, and I really just... people ignoring the fact that Lukaku's gone. It's just ridiculous. In at 7th, I've got West Ham. And I don't think that this is... I don't think this is biased, and I really, really hope that people watching this also do not think it's biased, because we've signed Hart, Zabaleta, Arnautovic and Chicharito. That is literally mental. If you said to me at the beginning or at the end of the season that in the next season we're going to be starting off with a team with... We'll still have Lanzini, which so far we do, and I really hope that this Neymar going to PSG doesn't create a domino effect of Coutinho going to Liverpool and Lanzini going to Coutinho going to Barca and Lanzini going to Liverpool. That would be horrible. We will be a mess without Lanzini. Yeah, if you said to me before the season we was going to have Joe Hart in goal, still have Reed, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Masuaku, and now Zabaleta, Obiang still here, Kouyaté still here, Antonio, Ayew, Arnautovic, Lanzini, Hernandez, Carroll, just ridiculous. So good, and I hope I haven't missed anyone too good out. They've obviously let go of Caleri, who didn't look too good. We've let go of Nordveit, Valencia, Ashley Fletcher, and Randolph, which I don't think is too bad. I did quite like Ashley Fletcher, actually, but, we've got Arnautovic in, just better than him. 7th for West Ham. I really, really hope that people don't go at me for putting them so high, and I really hope that they don't finish much lower. I think 7th will be really good. I'll be really happy with that. In at 6th, we have got Liverpool. I really like Liverpool. I really like Klopp as well. I think that's the reason mainly that a lot of people probably like Liverpool. Mohamed Salah, great signing. Dom Solanke, very, very good signing as well. And this might sound ridiculous, but my favourite signing... and I don't know why, but I really enjoy the Andrew Robertson from Hull signing to get in there at left back. I think he's going to be so good for them next year. Really, really like Robertson. I think he's really underrated, and this will be a really good chance for him to prove himself. And obviously he's going to get straight in because who's going to start in front of him? No one. Milner, well, he actually done quite well, to be honest. Let's not joke about Milner at left back, but Moreno is a joke. The only issue I have with Liverpool is Firmino. Not actually Firmino himself, because I really, really like him, and I think he's an excellent player. But you look at other teams' number 9s up in this top half, even West Ham with Chicharito, Palace of Benteke. Firmino is not a number 9 for me, and he's not someone, no one's going to put Firmino as their predicted top goal scorer for Golden Boot winner, are they? Let's be honest, Firmino is not a well-known goal scorer. He will get a few, of course he will. So will Mane. How can we forget about Mane? Incredible. Probably their best player. As well as Coutinho and Lallana as well. They've got a great team, but I just don't think that they have that real number 9 that they can rely on to get them goals and goals and goals throughout the whole of this season. That is why I've got Liverpool down in 6th place. 5th, Arsenal. Right, Arsenal. What a mess of a club they are. I really just they're so funny, and Arsenal Fan TV makes me laugh so much. I watch them all the time, but I just don't think it's healthy to go into a Premier League season when you have question marks over so many of your players. Sanchez, Ozil, Ox, Wilshere, Walcott, Bellerin and Giroud. No one knows what's happening with them. There's probably more to add to that list, and that is not healthy. Lacazette's a great signing, give him that. That is one of the best signings there's been so far. Hopefully, obviously, you get players like Torvin, who looks really good. Went to Newcastle, was pathetic. Ben Arthur looks really good in the Liga, but was a joke in the Prem. I can go on. There's a few exceptions, like Dimitri Payet, of course. But Lacazette, I do actually think he'll be really good for Arsenal, and I hope so too, because I would like to see that. And Kolasinac is the other player they've got in. Schalke are a team that I follow a lot. They're my second team, really, my abroad team. And I know for a fact Kolasinac is an absolute animal and will do bits from this year, I'm sure. So there I've got Arsenal. And to be honest, I think they could flip reverse with the team I've got in 4th, which is Spurs. I'm actually really disappointed with Spurs because I really like them because of how much young English talent that they've got. Obviously, Kane, Dyer and Ali. I'm a fan of all three of them and I really, really like them. And I loved Spurs last year. They've lost Walker though, and I think that is a bigger deal than people are making out. That people are saying, oh well, they've got Trippier. Trippier's good, but for me, Walker's probably one of the best right backs there are out there on the planet. Genuinely, I really, really, really rate Walker highly. They haven't signed anyone. I don't know if they're going to. It doesn't really look like it. I'm trying to think right now if I'd seen them linked with anyone. I really don't think I have. Not game-changer players, anyway. And I think, obviously, Spurs are so strong and finished second last year. They don't really need to sign anyone. You wouldn't have thought. But with the work that the teams around them are doing, I really do think that it will be an issue for them. And that is why I have got Tottenham in at 4th. In at 3rd, we have got Manchester United. Obviously, I just think they're going to do really, really well. I think Lindelof is a great signing. I think he's going to do really well for them. I feel like the majority of players that come from the Liga Portuguesa tend to be very good. So I'm sure he'll do bits for them. Lukaku, he's just going to score all their goals, isn't he? He's going to be an absolute pain. With Mkhitaryan sitting in behind, Lingard, Pogba, obviously, and Herrera, Martial. Lukaku's going to be a real issue, and maybe Golden Boot winner. And Matic as well is such a good signing, because that is going to free Pogba up so much. They literally couldn't have got anyone better. I think, to be honest, there's off the top of my head, there's Matic, Fabinho and Casemiro that Man United could have got in to do that job, to really sort of free up Pogba as the attackive defensive midfielder, if you will. Only player they've lost so far is Rooney. Obviously, probably Ibra as well. But and maybe Martial. Maybe Martial will be going to Inter. I don't think he will, but they're rumoured quite highly at the moment. Yeah, I think Man United, 3rd place. Will they be happy with that? I'm not sure. But it's definitely better than what they've done last year. Right, moving on into the top 2. Before I put in 2nd, I will put in 1st place. And in 1st place, I have got Manchester City, of course. Well, not of course, actually. And we'll get into that. Right, Man City. We will talk about them in a minute. But for now, we will talk about the reigning champions, Chelsea. Why do I think Chelsea will finish 2nd? Actually, rather than talk about these two, I'm going to talk about why I think one have done better than the other. We can come into this view now. We can get rid of that. Chelsea. I think... And I think if there's one team in the Prem that are going to win the Champions League or going to really contend, it's going to be Chelsea next year. I think they've got the best back line, probably in Europe, with Rudiger. That's such a good signing. I think that's a really underrated signing and not to be frowned upon. Rudiger over at maybe right back. Obviously Moses is decent, but I do think he's the weak link. They'll have David Luiz, Azpilicueta, Cahill, Marcus Alonso. Unbelievable talent in the back line of Chelsea next year. Bakayoko will be a great signing. Will he fill the shoes of Matic? Who knows? We'll see. They lost Costa. That is an issue. But they've signed Morata. I don't really know what I'm thinking about Morata. I would like to see him do well. I've only really seen him as a sub. Will he fill the shoes of Costa? I'm not sure. But look at Man City. Ederson in goal. Great goalie. Walker and Danilo. Walker and Danilo. Straight swaps for Sagna and Zabaleta. Ridiculous. Kolarov looks like he's probably going to leave to go to Roma. Clichy's already gone, and they've got Mendy in for him, obviously the most expensive defender ever. Very, very good, and their best signing personally, I think, joint with Walker, is Bernardo Silva. And I think to have Aguero up front, sitting behind David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva is absolutely ridiculous. And then you've got Sterling as well. Are they going to put Sterling on the bench? It's just stupid. Their team is ridiculous. Yaya probably end up on the bench. They've got Gundogan, Fernandinho. Unbelievable. They're just so talented. And I do think Man City will... I think Chelsea will be the closest team. I think it will be maybe all six of the teams that you can see there will be really close towards Christmas. And then the top 3 will sort of drift away. And then it will be the top 2. And it will be really neck and neck until the last couple of games of the season. But I do think Man City will win it. I will not be surprised if Chelsea do either. Or Man United, but anyone else I will be very, very shocked. That is my prediction for the league. I hope it's okay that I've done it in this sort of format, and it's the first time I've really I sort of lose concentration, and maybe there's a couple of times in this video where I'm not making sense, and I apologise if that's the case. I've also made a prediction for who I think will win the Liga, and that's PSG. Bundesliga, and that is Bayern Munich. La Liga, and that's Real Madrid. And Serie A, who's Juve. I know that they're obvious, but it'll just be fun. What I want to do is listen back to this video at the end of the season and see how right I was. But going back to the Premier League for a second, my Golden Boot prediction is Aguero. Obviously, you'd be silly not to say Kane, but for me, Aguero and Gabriel Jesus as well. I reckon he'll get a lot of goals. It will be sort of like the Suarez-Sturridge season, I think, because I think Gabriel Jesus is very, very good. But yeah, I think Aguero to be up front with the players I mentioned, both Silvers and De Bruyne sitting behind. That's goals. That is absolute goals. Like not only like squad goals, but I mean like kick the football into the back of the net goals. They're gonna, I reckon, 25 more. Aguero's gonna be bagging them in. Most assists prediction, I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne. Signing of the season as well, I think will be Lukaku actually. And what else I think that was all I done. I think so. Anyway, we are 27 minutes into this video now. Jesus, I've been rattling on for ages. That's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you hopefully soon for my next video. Goodbye.